Soviet disk detected. To play the Allied missions, please insert the Allied disk.
Hello everyone, I'm a Broken Robot. When we think of gaming, easily one of the most common and popular genres for all of gaming history is that of the platforming genre. To be more specific, side-scroller platformers have dominated the gaming landscape for decades, with titles like Mario, Metroid, and even modern titles like Katana Zero receiving great reviews and record sales. However, today I'd like to discuss one of my favorite platformer games, and one that exists as a time capsule from the golden age of gaming. That game is none other than Rayman Origins, released in 2011 by none other than Ubisoft. While the Rayman franchise has spanned decades and covered a wide scope of the platforming genre, myself and other game reviewers agree that Rayman Origins is easily the shining star of the franchise, being held in high esteem over a decade after its release. Rayman Origins is so much more than just a regular platforming title. Its unique blend of diverse level design, a simplistic but captivating story, and side content and hidden bosses in a time before DLCs were widespread highlights just how beloved this game was when it first released. When discussing the plot of Rayman Origins, you have to factor in the wider franchise, which, to be honest, is a beast in its own. Many game timeline changes and retcons have messed with the overarching story of Rayman, so if I get anything wrong, feel free to correct me in the comments down below. Anyway, the plot of Rayman Origins is rather silly, but works perfectly for the universe it's embedded within. At the beginning of the game, Bubble Dreamer, everyone's favorite bearded sage, Rayman, our beloved hero and main character, and his best friend Glowbox, and a couple of teensy friends are chilling out at Bubble Dreamer's resting grounds, the Snoring Tree, an iconic location of the entire game. The gang snoring, with help of a strange microphone disguised as a flower that will become more important to the plot later, disturbs an old granny from the land of the living dead, an area of the Glade of Dreams that contains all evil and the dead of the world. Annoyed by the noise, she retaliates by sending an evil army of horrendous creatures and Darktoons across the world to end the noise once and for all. The heroes, being woken up, attempt to fight back, but are defeated and captured. Rayman escapes and finds that the Darktoons have captured the Electoons that inhabit the world, imprisoned the nymphs, who were the guardians of the elemental realms, and plunged the Glade of Dreams into complete and utter chaos. This causes Bubble Dreamer to go crazy and as a result have nightmares, causing the local kings to be morphed into monstrosities by the chaos. Rayman and his friends are tasked by the Magician, a local teensy leader, to gather enough Electoons to cure Bubble Dreamer and restore the Glade to its original form. Their efforts to locate the Electoons allow them to gain access to various lands of the Glade, and rescue the nymphs along the way, increasing to their overall power. Eventually, they make their way to the mysterious gate, which can only be opened by rescuing the Glade Kings, who have been turned into monsters as a result of Bubble Dreamer's nightmares. Upon freeing the Glade Kings, the nymphs are able to open the Stargate, granting Rayman and his friends access to the hideout in the land of the Moody Clouds, which ends up revealing the true villain of the entire game. There they discover that their supposed friend, the Magician, is the one responsible for all the chaos, planting that microphone in the beginning of the game to purposely start a false war between the land of the living dead and the Glade Kings. The Magician secretly admires Mr. Dark, the villain of the original Rayman game, and he was behind events that caused the land of the living dead forces and nightmares to attack, preoccupying the heroes and using the looms they had given him to power and use his diabolical machines rather than help Bubble Dreamer. The Magician then sends Rayman and his friends into a pit with his mechanical monsters, but they escape and return to his office. The Magician then begins a rather nonsensical dance and sends them into a dancing funk, using this as a good time to escape. Rayman and our heroes chase after and fight the Magician in his escape airship, sending it crashing into the power source of his entire hideout. The resulting chain of events causes the hideout to explode, releasing the looms back into the Glade of Dreams, while Rayman and his friends free fall back to the Snoring Tree, where they proceed to resume their relaxation, bringing a simplistic but satisfying conclusion to the story, with all being right in the Glade of Dreams. While the story of Rayman Origins might seem overly straightforward on paper, in reality it's strung along perfectly by the segmented gameplay stages. In fact, now's a great opportunity to discuss the various stages you'll encounter throughout the game. The first stage, and easily the fan favorite, is the Gibberish Jungle. It serves as an introductory stage to the game and sets the tone for the adventure ahead. The Gibberish Jungle is characterized by its lush tropical jungle environment, filled with vibrant colors and whimsical cartoonish landscapes. The stage features towering trees, dense foliage, and cascading waterfalls, creating a visually stunning backdrop for a game made all the way back in 2011. The Gibberish Jungle serves as the tutorial stage to familiarize players with the game mechanics and controls. The level design is relatively straightforward with platforming challenges, hazards, and enemies scattered throughout the environments. Players must navigate through the jungle, from swinging vines, jumping across platforms, and avoiding obstacles to progress. Throughout the Gibberish Jungle stage, players will encounter various enemies and obstacles that stand in their way. These include hostile creatures like mosquitoes, piranhas, and spiky plants, as well as environmental hazards like bottomless pits and falling debris. Players must use precise timing and skillful maneuvers to overcome these challenges and reach the end of the stage. The Gibberish Jungle stage is filled with collectible items and hidden secrets for the players to discover. These include looms, magical glowing orbs that you'll find throughout the entire game, and the Electoons, which are often found caged. The hidden passages leading to these bonus areas will allow you to free the Electoons from their cages. Exploration and thoughtfulness are rewarded through these explorations, encouraging players to revisit levels to uncover everything they might have missed. At the end of the Gibberish Jungle stage, players will encounter the Carnivora boss that can be difficult for first-time players. This boss uses a basic boss stage to maneuver, which the player will have to use against this evil plant. After the jungle stage, Rayman and Co. will move on to the Desert of Didgeridoos, which is characterized by plenty of birds and amazing background music. In fact, quick side tangent, compared to other games in the Rayman franchise, and side-scroller games in general, Rayman Origins' original soundtrack is a certified banger. Christopher Harel, the French game composer, masterfully blends a mix of Mexican, Aboriginal, and French styles of music to make a soundtrack that is truly unique. Anyway, back to the Desert of Didgeridoos. This stage is part of the larger Desert of Didgeridoos world within the game that is featured in other Rayman titles. This region is a step up from the jungle, hosting more challenging platforming and far more diverse level designs, presenting players with a challenging and visually striking environment. Importantly, in this region, after freeing the desert nymph, Rayman and his party unlock the ability to glide, which is basically mandatory for completing the rest of the game. The stage is set in a vast desert landscape characterized by towering sand dunes, ancient ruins from games past, and an overall mystic atmosphere. Players must navigate through sandy terrain, leap across crumbling ruins, and swing from ledges to progress through the stage using bird allies to reach ledges while avoiding hostile enemies. Throughout the Desert of Didgeridoo stage, players encounter various enemies and obstacles that stand in the way, including desert spikes, various bird-themed enemies, as well as environmental hazards like quicksand, falling rocks, and gusts of wind. Like the jungle area, the Desert of Didgeridoos is full of collectible items and hidden secrets for the player to discover, including looms and Electoons with far more difficult level setups, helping the player truly enjoy their accomplishment with each stage cleared. At the end of the stage, players encounter the game's second boss, Mockingbird, which requires players to use their glider skills to progress. This boss has several minor enemies that assisted in combat that the player will have to use in order to defeat this overgrown Goonie bird. The controversial third stage, which hosts much of the fan-favorite music from Rayman Origins, is Gourmet Land. This region of the game shows the more whimsical side of Rayman's world, filled with delectable treats and culinary-themed obstacles. It features a variety of mouth-watering environments including candy-coated landscapes, giant cakes, and towering desserts. Players must navigate through sugary platforms, bounce on marshmallows and questionable trampolines, and swing from licorice vines to progress through the stage. Throughout Gourmand Land, players encounter a colorful cast of enemies including mischievous pastry chefs, jelly monsters, and sentient food items. After freeing this stage's nymph, the players will unlock the ability to change size. While this power is one of the less interesting game mechanics, it's vital for defeating this stage's boss. For most of the stage, the player uses precise timing and skillful maneuvers to avoid enemies and overcome the numerous environmental obstacles this stage hosts. Environmental obstacles include spinning blades, knife booby traps, and collapsing ice platforms. Like the other stages in Rayman Origins, Gourmet Land also hosts secret lumen levels and other hidden stages. Gourmet Land also hosts easily the most unique boss of the entire game. Using your ability to change size to quite literally enter the third boss's body to reach his stomach, Al's stomach is an odd boss that requires you to venture through the body of a corrupted king of the Gourmet Land until he's freed from his chaos-caused stomachache. This boss fight is far more simpler than the past two, but requires more platforming skills than actual combat techniques. The fourth stage that Rayman and his crew must clear is the Sea of Serendipity, an aquatic underwater world teeming with vibrant marine life and mystical aquatic environments. After freeing the water nymph, players acquire the ability to dive, which makes maneuvering this stage far easier. Players dive into an immersive underwater adventure exploring coral reefs, sunken ships, and mysterious underwater caves. The stage also features various underwater obstacles and challenges, including treacherous currents, swirling vortexes, and dangerous sea creatures like spiked fish, serpents, and crabs. Players must navigate through the underwater environment, swimming past obstacles, dodging enemies, and collecting looms and other collectible items along the way. The Sea of Serendipity stage also introduces unique gameplay mechanics, such as swimming against strong currents and riding on the backs of friendly sea creatures to traverse long distances. Throughout the stage, players encounter hidden secrets and bonus areas, encouraging exploration and thoroughness. At the end of the stage, you'll encounter the fourth boss, Crevaton, a gargantuan sea dragon. While this boss is relatively intimidating, his boss area is open and full of easy opportunities to dodge and flee attacks. This boss fight combines all the aspects of the past three boss fights. With skilled maneuvering, using the environment against the boss, and basic dodging, you'll be able to achieve an easy victory against this overgrown shrimp. After freeing the fifth and final nymph and the four kings, the Mystical Peak stage will become available to players, which is a fantastical and enchanting world filled with mechanical landscapes and whimsical creatures. It presents players with a journey through ancient ruins, shedding light on the lore and events of previous Rayman games. The stage features a diverse range of platforming challenges, including swinging from ropes, leaping across floating platforms, and navigating through maze-like passages. Throughout the Mystic Peak stage, players encounter a variety of enemies and creatures, such as metal golems, fire-throwing machines, and buffed-out versions of previous enemies. Players must use precise timing and strategic planning to overcome these obstacles and progress through the level. This region also introduces unique gameplay mechanics, such as interacting with magical objects, manipulating environmental elements, and solving puzzles to unlock hidden secrets and bonus areas. At the end of the stage, you'll encounter an interesting designed boss, a gigantic statue of living rock. The golem boss is only ever seen from the chest up. You'll fight inside a chamber in the mountain. A key feature of the fight with the golem is that he's limited to moving his body up and down and can only hurt the heroes by causing them to come in contact with the dark roots that surround him. It is not known if the golem has any allegiance to the living dead or the magician, but he stands in your way and must be defeated. Once he is defeated, he simply falls to pieces, much like the bosses in the original Rayman game. Unlike the other bosses in Rayman Origins, he does not revert to a benevolent form. The final endgame stage, the Moody Clouds region, is an atmospheric and challenging world set amid stormy skies and towering clouds. The stage hosts the climax of the game, featuring the reveal that the huge mechanical floating city has been hidden by the Moody Clouds. It presents players with a series of platforming challenges and obstacles that test their agility and reflexes. The stage features dynamic weather effects, including thunderstorms, gusty winds, and lightning strikes, which create a sense of tension and urgency as the player navigates through the levels. Throughout the Moody Cloud stage, players encounter a variety of enemies and hazards, such as storm clouds, lightning bolts, and flying creatures, as well as numerous evil robots. Players must use precise timing and strategic planning to avoid these obstacles and progress through the level. At the end of the Moody Cloud stage, the great reveal of the magician's true intentions come into play, which culminates in a boss fight that requires players to revisit the first two bosses, now in mechanical form. Luckily, the same tactics that you used against their organic forms will likely work the same. Anyway, after you defeat the mechanical versions of the first two bosses, it's followed by chasing down the magician in his airship. That reminds me, several air levels where mosquitoes assist our heroes require timing and maneuvering skills in all of the stages, which culminates in this final chase down, showing that your skills have truly paid off. When it comes to side content, after defeating the magician and his mechanical bosses, peace is restored to the Glade of Dreams. However, if players manage to collect the 10 ruby teeth throughout the game by chasing down their mobile prisons, they gain access to the Land of the Living Dead itself, where another monster, Big Mama, awaits, which many online call the true final boss of Rayman Origins. Once defeated, it's revealed to be another nymph of the Land of the Living Dead, turned into a nightmare because of the dark tunes, and then she thanks her savior for freeing her, bringing an end to the game once and for all. Overall, when it comes to the gameplay, Rayman Origins has a lot of replay factors, especially when considering the third and fourth stage of the game where multiple routes can be taken in a single level. The diverse level designs and numerous side content and secrets within stages make no two playthroughs alike. The combination of well-designed gameplay and stages to traverse, combined with the simplistic story and magical music, makes what I and many critics consider a solid 10 out of 10 game. Even when Rayman Origins' sequel, Rayman Legends, came out, many preferred the design and linear path of Rayman Origins. Its gorgeous hand-drawn art style and fluid animations, and the game's visuals are vibrant and colorful and full of personality, creating a visually stunning world that draws players in and immerses them in the game's universe, even a decade later. While Rayman Origins is accessible to players of all skill levels, it also offers a satisfying level of challenge for those seeking it. The game features tight and responsive controls, precise platforming mechanics, and a variety of obstacles and enemies that require skill and strategy to overcome. This balance of accessibility and challenge makes gameplay engaging and rewarding. The entire game is filled with charming characters and quirky storytelling that truly makes Rayman Origins a time capsule to a simpler time in gaming history that a robot like me can get behind. But what do you guys think? If you've played Rayman Origins before, feel free to leave a comment down below on your personal thoughts on the game. I'm a bit biased towards this title because I grew up playing it with my friends, but I promise, even if you're slightly curious, Rayman Origins is worth your time and its relatively cheap price tag. And with that being said, thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed the video. I always enjoy covering niche video game topics, so if you want more gaming related topics, leave a like down below, or comment other games I should cover on the show. But more than anything, I'm so happy to have each and every one of you here in the audience today. You all truly are what makes this show possible. Feel free to subscribe so you don't miss out on my future video essays, commentary, and reviews on whatever topic of the week has piqued my interest. Join the Robot Factory today. I hope you all have a great day. Don't blindly trust magicians and stay cool.